Wrestling has more than one royal family.
Good evening, everybody. Raw just went off the air. We got a new royal family to deal with. Oh, man. Pretty good show tonight. Great wrestling. Yeah, I was monitoring the main event very closely tonight on Raw to see how the very noisy public out there was going to treat Theory versus Ziggler, main eventing Raw, going off the air, no controversy, no run-in, no lights off, lights on, no clusterfucks, just straight-up wrestling. You know, I honestly think a little of Theory main eventing tonight and beating Dolph Ziggler in arguably a pay-per-view quality match was a big middle finger to some of those people that started reporting that Theory was one of the casualties in the Triple H era. He got punked the fuck out at the pay-per-view, and we didn't see him much since, and he was losing and off TV, and people started reporting that. This is why you can't believe everything you tune into. And speaking of not believing everything you tune into, yeah, later on tonight, Gewalt Nachrichten. Aye. Yeah, that's how you say fake news in German. Yesterday, we talked about the Bray Wyatt, Vince McMahon fake news. Now we got to talk about Vince McMahon and Gunther, Vince McMahon and Ludwig Keiser. You're going to see so much Vince McMahon bullshit news for the foreseeable future because everybody out there knows Vince is not going to go on Twitter and call them out for their lies. You're seeing it all over the place. You know what's interesting, though? July 25th, 2022. July 25th, 2022. Go back to that episode of the Don Tony Show. That night, we talked about how all these people that want this investigation, remember Variety? Remember those two materazzis that went on Busted Open Radio? And they were a little bit baffled as to why this wasn't a bigger news story. And you had, I don't want to mention any names, you know who they are, but you had people the last couple of weeks that said, oh, this Vince McMahon, they just tipped the iceberg. It's just, this investigation is going to blow up into something gigantic, maybe criminal. July 25th, on this show, Sausage, I told you the investigation is just about over. It's coming to an end. WWE didn't have much else to look into. Nobody would buy it. Nobody would report it. nobody would accept it. That's the truth. So I try to present you facts. I don't try to present you emotion just to get you to trigger a reaction. July 25th, that same day, we talked about WWE is going to consider tweaking the names of some wrestlers. Will Theory get back his first name? Will Garza get back his first name? Will they change Doudrop's name? We talked about that July 25th. This weekend, it was a major news story. We talked about this yesterday. AJ Francis, Top Dollar, back on WWE television. Hit Row is now on SmackDown. What did you notice this weekend? The news about AJ Francis, a.k.a. Top Dollar. Oh, my sources tell us that he was a problem in the locker room, that he had a bad attitude, that this is why he was let go. Motherfuckers, that was the alleged news story in November. And AJ Francis responded to it and said, yeah, I was a little bit of a dick. I'm just ad-libbing because I stand up for my friends. I stand up for BFAB. I stand up for my... They're just trying to find anything to get you to tune into their shit. And look, if you want to tune into their stuff and you want to be constantly lied to, go right ahead. But July 2022, I've been doing this almost 26 years now. July 2022 might go down as like the biggest month as far as us, as far as nailing things from the TV for everything. Now all we need is Sasha and Naomi to come back. And if you remember the scenario we talked about, if it comes back the way it does, every single thing that we talked about, every single one, from Brock Lesnar not quitting WWE to this, and it's just amazing to see people just getting it. People don't care anymore. They don't care. They will just lie to your face, and they laugh behind your back because you're the suckers that keep tuning in. Not here. I feel I'm disrespecting you if I tell you anything that is bullshit. So I kind of extended this a little bit because we don't have much to talk about, everyone. That's what happens when you do multiple shows during the week. We're going to talk about Raw. We will talk about the fake news with Gunther, Keiser, and Vince McMahon. I already broke it out that the Vince McMahon investigation is pretty much over. Tomorrow, WWE is going to release their Q2 financials. Remember, they had to ask for an extra week's extension because of additional information that they uncovered. There's not much else to that. And unfortunately, a lot of people online are not going to get the outcome that they want with Vince McMahon. You know, and I'll say this also tonight. Look, you tune into my shows every week. You know, we have been saying every single week, it feels like there is a new energy in WWE. The wrestlers feel more relaxed. They're not dealing with an asshole named John Laurinaitis. They're not worried about Vince McMahon and a lot of his out-of-touch things. You know, his attitude, his style. A lot of wrestlers don't fit. Now, and listen, let's also remember that the more opportunity some people get, the less opportunity others get. So this is not, people are trying to portray online that Triple H is this gigantic outsider that is going to turn WWE into this totally different product. If it's not broken, you don't fix it. Yes, as a wrestling fan, there's been a lot to be desired about WWE television. There's been a lot that I don't like. The problem is when you make record profits and the ratings are what they are and the attendances are what they are and the subscriptions are what they are and the merchandise sales are what they are. If you don't see any dip, if you don't see any drop, how in your right mind do you go back to your investors and say, no, we need to change all of this stuff? No. And you could turn around and say, well, maybe it'll make them even bigger and better. Yeah, that is possible. That is very possible. But trust me when I tell you, everybody online has gotten the stock market wrong because they envision it as a wrestling fan. People said, oh, Triple H is going to take... First they said when Vince retires, the stock is going to crash. And they based it on the limousine explosion from many years ago. Vince was not 70-something years old at that time. And a lot of this womanizing shit was not available at that time. Another thing that these people said was, oh my God, now Triple H is in charge and this and that, and the stock is going to explode. The stock went up, it went back down, because that's how the stock market is. We can't use SmackDown as an example, but big shout out to all the goofs today who told you that SmackDown went down to 1,927,000. Their rating went down. The Raw rating went down 300,000 viewers last week. Ah! The Raw rating last week is in the same range of when Vince was still in creative. If you are enjoying what you're watching, that's all that matters. Do not take this small noise online that wants you to Photoshop Triple H's body over Tony Khan's. Booker of the year, promoter of the year. Can you be my daddy? Pops, God, boss, whatever word you want to do. Because those people are now doing what they made fun of towards others with Tony Khan. You're not going to see this dramatic shift. And let's also be honest. Great wrestling is fucking awesome. But it only goes to a certain degree. You have to have compelling storylines. You have to have a lot of other factors as well. Some people out there want a WWE version of Ring of Honor. They want something, and that is the minority out there. Just only focus on what you like. If you enjoyed tonight's show, great. The Usos interfered, caused a disqualification, same shit we've seen under Vince's helm. You're not going to see. It feels completely different because Vince is no longer in charge. If you watched Raw last week and this week, and you had no idea that Vince retired and Triple H was in charge, you would feel that there is a little bit different, but not that much different. It's just because of the Vince McMahon, or everything feels totally different. And the hope factor is mixed in with that. The hope factor. Now, one thing about Jimmy Uso, it appears he's okay. I don't know if you saw this tonight. He got hit with a double whammy from Drew McIntyre. And if you look at Drew McIntyre's reaction after Jimmy Uso took the second spill, he was mad. Drew McIntyre was not mad at the Usos. Drew McIntyre was mad at himself. Now, I have to show it to you in two parts because we don't want any copyright issues here. But if you look at your screen closely, you're going to see, look, there's the attempted clothesline. Ooh, that freaking hurt. That hurt. Didn't go over the top rope because Drew McIntyre was too close to the ropes. So he didn't have the momentum for Jimmy Uso to go over the top rope, but it gets worse. Jimmy Uso, sorry. Let's look at it again. All right, let's look at it again. All right, so he can't clothesline him, so he goes down. All right, so now Jimmy Uso rolls under the ropes. He rolls under the ropes, and here comes Jey Uso. And watch closely what happens to Jimmy Uso when Drew throws Jey over the top rope. Watch this closely. That is scary, man. That is scary. Now, thank God Jimmy Uso went back in the ring and they took out Drew McIntyre a few moments later, but that could have been disaster right there. So we hope Jimmy Uso's okay. Those guys, man, like I said, it is so unfair for people to try to throw FTR and the Usos in the same sentence. I think FTR is one of the top tag teams in the last 10 years, no question, maybe top 5. But I blame it on Tony Khan more than anything else. They do not wrestle enough to be considered the greatest tag team, period, and this and that. These motherfuckers are on TV every single week, putting it out there. People are not sick of them. Maybe people want to see a change in the title situation, but you see the amount of work that these guys put in. You can't compare it. FTR has had, what, 2 matches on AEW television since June? Did you see the IWC get triggered because I brought up Samoa Joe this morning? It was funny as it went down because I knew exactly what was going to happen. Because I looked into Samoa Joe, and the number of times he has wrestled on Rampage and Dynamite over the last 12 weeks is zero. And before I posted the tweet, I did a little bit of research, and I found something that Tony Schiavone said about 2 months ago, where he said that Samoa Joe was filming for some Peacock TV series that's going to launch in 2023. He plays a clown and this and that. The funny thing is, he plays a very small role in it. And if you look at the main actors and actresses that were filming, they're all over the TV in making appearances and everything like that. So when I saw that, I said, I can't wait for the people that are going to try to throw in my face like, hey, DT, he's filming Peacock. That was 2 fucking months ago. So because I posted that, you got to see how angry some people got. I couldn't believe the anger shown today, and I know it's nothing new, but do you ever notice the anger online when people called Jon Moxley Dean Ambrose? Oh, Jesus Christ. Go on Twitter tonight, type in Dean Ambrose and do a search by date. Put recent and just watch the timeline. If you dare call Jon Moxley Dean Ambrose, even though Jon Moxley is not his real name too, but that's his current name, of course. But if you dare call Jon Moxley Dean Ambrose, be warned, you have a mob out there waiting to get at you, just waiting to eat you alive. And I'm like, man, people are weird to get that angry about stuff like that. But I want to make one other point and we'll move on. I understand the vibe on Raw feels different. We're excited. We feel there's a new creative impact. You're going to see some people return because they are happy working for Triple H, unhappy working for Vince. No question. There are wrestlers out there that Vince saw no value in, that Triple H saw value in. But Triple H was not the boss. And Triple H had to go with the program. That's why he said what he said on Stephen A. Smith. That's why he said what he has said to Ariel Helwani. People think that when he mentions Bruce Pritchard or Kevin Dunn, that, he is just lying. He doesn't mean that. They're going to fucking get rid of him the first moment they can. You can't pay attention to that. But I will say this. Even though there is a newfound energy and some people don't feel like they're walking on eggshells anymore, let's not act like there's never been great wrestling on WWE television over the last couple of years. Sure. Was some of it filled with dumb shit like the 24/7 title and other antics going on? Absolutely. Absolutely. That's Vince going back to the gobbledygooker days and doing all this other stuff. But let's not act like we didn't see some awesome matches with Seth Rollins the past bunch of years, and we haven't seen Roman Reigns kill it, that we haven't seen Seth Rollins kill it, that we haven't seen the Street Profits kill it, that we haven't seen Riddle kill it, that we haven't seen Sheamus and Drew McIntyre tear the roof down on TV, that we haven't seen all these fucking wrestlers killing it on TV. I understand the newfound excitement, and that's great. The hope, I have it with you. I am with you 100%. But when people have to say, the WWE was dead the last couple of years and Vince killed everything, and those are people just looking for this. Those are just people looking for that. If Vince McMahon gave us what we got tonight, I guarantee you some people would have said, the loudest of the noise, the fuck are we getting Ziggler in Theory to close out? Vince McMahon's favorite. Why are they closing out Raw? What an uneventful finish for Raw. Some people would have done that. So I'm enjoying the great wrestling, and I'm enjoying, a little change of pace. Hit Row, remember when they got released? Do you remember the flood of the IWC that said, oh, they weren't ready? They weren't ready. The fuck are they being brought up now this quick? Let me ask you an honest question. You don't have to answer this. Just think about it. The fuck you think Hit Row is done? Now, we can't include Swerve, because Swerve is in AEW. He's doing a great job in AEW. You look at Ashante Theodonis. When was the last time you ever mentioned anything about him? When was the last time you ever paid attention to him? AJ Francis, yeah, he's been on indies and squashing people. But BFAB, when was the last time that you paid attention to anything that she has done? Where is this momentum from November of last year to now, where everybody feels all of a sudden, oh, they're ready. They're ready. They're ready. And don't give me, well, Triple H is at the helm and not Vince, because you could use that fucking excuse for any single person you want on TV. Dana Brooke is on TV. Oh, well, Triple H is at the helm now and not Vince. Someone else is on TV. Well, Triple H is at the helm, not Vince. Don't give me that shit. Don't give me that shit. Because when people said they weren't ready, you didn't hear people say they are fucking ready and Vince is going to fuck it up. No, that's not what people said back then. Unfortunately, they can't erase Google unless they want to start deleting all their posts, which is not going to be easy for a lot of people. I am very happy Hit Row is back, and I'm very proud of what I said about Hit Row. Go check back. I had co-hosts at the time. Go check back the debates and the discussions. I thought Hit Row was a hell of a lot better. And I said, let's give them a chance. Let's see what they could do. Never once. And I don't think my former co-host, Mish, said anything different. I think he also said, you know what? Let's see what they got. Give them a chance. It's fresh. It's different. I don't think any of us criticized them going to the main roster. But people are acting like, that they said something totally different back then. That's not true. It's just not true. So, all right. In a few minutes, we're going to do a Guess the Ratings contest. I don't know how many of you are unaware of it, but we are going to do a Guess the Ratings contest, and we're going to do a little flashback with Sting. So the prize tonight, someone tonight is going to win these 3 items. I know you have seen one of them before. I resisted temptation. I never opened the gum. So someone tonight is going to win that autographed photo of Sting, which I think is awesome. You got to see this photo in person. It is beautiful, and the quality of the photo is incredible. So you will get the signed photo. You will also get the bubble gum unopened. That is from over 20 years ago. And you get the unopened WCW Sting toothbrush. So I decided to go all retro tonight with Sting. And here's the gum. So it's still never opened, still sealed. I don't recommend you taste it. You want to keep it. You want to put it on eBay. Here is the toothbrush, never opened, never touched. Unfortunately, I'm not ready to part with him yet. Look at that nappy hair. Look at that nappy hair. Somebody back in the late 90s met with Eric Bischoff and Sting, said, yeah, we think this is a great idea, Sting. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Looks like Ace Frehley stuck his dick in an outlet and got electrocuted his hair. Can't give that up yet. Do you think when they did meetings that time, you think if Tony Schiavone was in the meeting and they put, that's Sting! I like Tony Schiavone's excitement. I'm a Schiavone fan. So in a few minutes, we'll do the Guess the Ratings contest. You have to be in the live chat. If you're not a subscriber yet, you could subscribe now. There's no waiting. So in the past, we used to have a 20-minute wait. There's no waiting tonight. So if you subscribe, you go in the chat room, you'll be eligible. Don't put your entry in yet. Just start thinking about what you believe the AEW Dynamite rating will be this Wednesday. Because whoever comes closest to that rating first wins those 3 items. So the AEW Dynamite rating for this Wednesday. Now remember, CM Punk came back last week. A lot of people thought he wasn't sure. He did. Bryan Danielson's going to wrestle 2 out of 3 falls this Wednesday. So now we have a week to think about Bryan Danielson wrestling 2 out of 3 falls, Jon Moxley and CM Punk having a confrontation this Wednesday, and the Young Bucks teaming up with a mystery partner in the trios tournament. Those are three huge parts of Dynamite that have been missing. That is three huge factors. So you would think, 1,000,001? Is that too much to ask? They did what, 970 something last week? You would think that there's got to be 100,000 wrestling fans out there that wouldn't mind watching Punk, Danielson, and the Trios tournament. And there's other things as well. You would think that there's got to be 100,000, even WWE fans. There's got to be 100, 150,000 fans out there, because if they don't do 1.1 or 1,070,000, that is telling. I mean, that makes you almost feel like they hit their ceiling. For the most part, as far as their ratings go, there is no excuses Wednesday. That's why I wanted to do this contest. I know originally we were going to do Liv Morgan. We could do Liv Morgan next week. I know that doesn't sound all that great, but we'll do Liv Morgan giveaway next week. So, all right. Rob S. is asking me, do I have an Ahmed Johnson signed photo? I'm pretty sure I do somewhere. I'll look in my bin later this week. I'll let you know. I probably do. All right, let's talk about Raw. Because Raw was a fun show tonight. Yes, we did see the 24/7 title. Dakota Kai, it was interesting because Dakota Kai, when she had the confrontation with Dana Brooke in the back, it was kind of goofy on Dana Brooke's part, because Dakota Kai, when she saw Dana Brooke and Dakota is with Io Sky and Bailey, Dakota Kai's got backup. Dana Brooke had no backup. So she goes up to Dana Brooke and she's like, no, Dana, don't worry. We're not here to ambush you. And it's like Dana Brooke is reading from a script. And she's like, if yous are trying to intimidate me, I'm not scared. If this was TV 14, if I was Dakota Kai, I would have turned around and say, hey, stupid. I just fucking said we're not here to do anything to you. What are you, fucking dense? What are you, stupid? So Dana Brooke is talking from a script. Dakota Kai is saying things, and Dana Brooke's like, I'm ready 24/7. Are you ready for our match tonight? I'm ready 24/7. If I was WWE, they should have used Dakota Kai tonight. If they're getting rid of that 24/7 title completely, they should have just said, I don't want that. You can have that. I don't want that. I know it's kind of a disrespect to Dana Brooke indirectly, but fuck it. Fuck it. Sorry. It is what it is. But remember, we don't know exactly what's going to happen with the 24/7 title. Remember, WWE right now, Sausage is thinking two ways with this. Either they drop the 24/7 title, retire it, done. They could also take it a little more serious, or they could keep it around in some capacity, and they will also use it for promotional purposes. You have like a Gronk get the title, gets mainstream coverage. You have somebody in the entertainment world get the 24/7 title. Fuck, Bad Bunny may stop by. Hey, I'm in town. Hey, you want? Yeah, but you're going to win the 24/7 title. Didn't he win the 24/7 title once? Didn't he have a belt on the stage? I think he did. That's a great idea, Crestman. Give the 24/7 title to Logan Paul. I'm fine with it. I don't mind if the title sticks around, as long as we don't get the dumb Benny Hill shit anymore. But remember this too. WWE is not going to forget about the kids. Riddle, if he feels like he's for the kids, not too much when you're wearing a 420 shirt, tonight like we had him. But Riddle, when you see the birds fly when he throws his slippers off, and you see the snake, and you see the cartoon graphics. Did you see when they had Riddle's name on the screen? It looked like a colorful cartoon. Kind of an interesting person to be a role model for kids, if you really think about it. I'm not really complaining. But, WWE's not going to forget about the kids. And I think people need to realize that, because a lot of the IWC noise out there is between the ages of maybe like 22 and 42. That fair, 22 and 50? I think that's pretty much the age bracket of the noise out there. And they're going to have some programming that's going to be suitable for kids. We're still TV PG. And Triple H has proven that you could be TV PG and have great shows. Rampage, some of the shows lately have been not that great. But if you see a lot of Rampage episodes, once it's over, you're like, why was this TV 14? Yeah, just one curse word. Rampage is nowhere near TV 14. But it's rated TV 14, and AEW has the leeway, the wiggle room, that if they do want a week where they could go a little bit extra, they can. And you don't have to worry about the ratings. The advertisers know that what they're advertising is a TV 14 show. So WWE is still, and we talked about it on Saturday. Nobody online talked about it. You find that weird? After everybody got caught with their pants down with the TV 14 rating, I noticed it. I posted on Twitter 5 minutes after SmackDown started Friday. The rating for SmackDown Friday was TV PG. Sexual suggestive content, dialogue, violence, language. DSVL, I think it was. That's what was SmackDown's rating. On Fox, TV PG, DSVL. Tonight on Raw, TV PG, V. That was it. It's pretty interesting. You would think the opposite, that Raw would be DSVL and SmackDown would be just V. Interesting how things work. That's what happens with advertisers. Understand that USA Network, what do they usually air? What were they airing not too long ago? What was it, Temptation Island? Where's hearing words being we're hearing that on Raw. Listen, they would even blark out the word ass. And then you see a commercial coming up next on Temptation Island. Man, I hope she blows me tonight. Yeah, I'm going to get fucking laid tonight. This fucking slut. That's what you see the Temptation Island commercials. They actually use profanity on the commercial, and they're not beeped out. All right. So, SmackDown tonight. Lot of great in-ring wrestling. We open up with the Judgment Day. Rhea Ripley first on the mic. Hey, Dominik, I'm your pappy. I destroyed Dominik's soul. It was so cute. And props to everybody who has like minds as well. Last week we said we think Dominik may like to be dominated from Rhea Ripley. Suddenly everybody is talking about, hey, I think Dominik likes to be dominated by Rhea Ripley. So I think will Rhea go to Dominik, get on your knees. I could actually picture, I could hear Rhea's voice. The only way she could say it, get on your knees. I could picture Dominik kissing the feet that she has. Nothing overly perverse, but I think Dominik will be Rhea Ripley's little lapdog. If he turns, I think that is happening. But Finn Balor got bad news for all the Mysterio fans out there. The Mysterios were not going to be there tonight because Dominik got crushed last week and Finn destroyed Ray. Damian Priest talking about his match next week in Toronto versus Edge. Next thing you know, Rey Mysterio comes out. He attacks the two members of Judgment Day. We have Rhea Ripley, who's basically trying to bait Rey Mysterio. And I know a lot of you out there, oh, please, just once. TV 14, please. Rhea Ripley is like, come on, right here. Oh, you're short? You're a short little, right here. I'm exaggerating. But so many people, they're like, do it. He didn't do it. And unfortunately, he got the shit knocked out of him. And it ended with Finn Balor doing a coup de grace while they had a chair on Ray's midsection. So the pain for Rey Mysterio, I think, has just begun. By the way, did I say that tonight's Raw was from the Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C.? Just wanted to make a mention. In case you didn't know, now you know. All right. We had the opening match. Surprised people didn't complain about maybe a little lack of women's wrestling tonight. We had an awesome opening match. Dana Brooke versus Dakota Kai. It is what it is. But the opening match tonight was the tournament for the Women's Tag Team Championships. Alexa Bliss and Asuka winning the match over Doudrop and Nikki Ash. Nikki Ash coming out without the cape. Little bit different attire. Will she go back to Nikki Cross? Do you want her to go back to Nikki Cross? I think a lot of people would love to see the Nikki Cross that was in NXT. That's not out of the question. But understand that for a entertainment company that is mainstream with families, you will see that if Nikki Cross goes back to that character, it will be tweaked heavily. But unfortunately, Doudrop and Nikki Ash, they chalk up another win. Doudrop taps out to the Asuka lock while Nikki Ash is outside the ring. She gets laid out from Alexa Bliss. Bianca Belair, a little bit of a front row seat. I think basically watching the back of Asuka and Alexa Bliss, because don't forget at Clash at the Castle, we got Io Sky, Bayley, and Dakota Kai versus Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka. Now, what's very interesting, think about it. You almost feel like it should be the opposite. The problem is it can't be the opposite because we're going to crown champions. I would assume it's got to be after Clash at the Castle, wouldn't you think? Because this is the brackets right now. So we have 3 more matches. Now, Friday, it's going to be Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark versus Natalya and Sonya Deville. After that, we only have 3 matches left. Because we have Io Sky and Dakota Kai versus Alexa Bliss and Asuka. That's going to take place next week. Next week, we will have Raquel Rodriguez, and Aaliyah taking on the winners of Natalya and Sonya, who I think will win. And they're this week facing Nikita. So we actually could, this is an interesting dynamic. I wonder if anybody's really thinking about it. That's an interesting dynamic because we have 3 Saturdays left for Clash at the Castle. I should know. The same day of Clash at the Castle is my wedding. So trust me, I know it's 19 days away. Believe me, I'm starting to feel it. But when you think about it, if you really pay attention to the weeks, next week we'll have the semifinals set. The following week could be the finals. I think WWE holds off until the week after Clash at the Castle to have the finals. The question is, do they have it on Raw? Do they have it on SmackDown? I don't see it. It can't happen at Clash at the Castle because Dakota Kai and Io Sky or Alexa Bliss and Asuka are going to the finals. They're wrestling in a 6-woman tag match at Clash at the Castle. So I would think that the finals will be the following week. But it's very interesting. Now they're doing this so close to Clash at the Castle. So, all right. I'm just checking out the chat, making sure everything is copacetic there. So, Io Sky, Dakota Kai next week will be taking on Alexa Bliss and Asuka. Who do you all got? Who do you all got in this match? Me, I think Dakota Kai and Io Sky got to get it. But you know what's interesting about it? I got to be honest with you. I try to think one step ahead. Could Naomi and Sasha Banks return right after this to claim what they never lost? Yes, they gave them up. And if that were to happen, who would you see more inclined for them to feud with? Sasha Banks and Naomi would have to come back as baby faces. And if that's the case, then they would have to take on Io Sky and Dakota Kai. I almost feel that is the match everybody would want to see. If they were to come back in a heel capacity, and believe me, some people think that because they still want Naomi in the bloodline, Sasha Banks I mean, I know she's gotten some issues because it's C6E6, if you know what I mean. Sure, they could come back as heels, but I don't see that. I think they come back, they will get the craziest pop. And let's not also forget that people take it more of a power move by women, standing up for themselves, standing up for the asshole John Laurinaitis that lied to them one too many times. Vince McMahon that lied to them as well, promised them things they didn't deliver. So it almost feels like they got to come back as baby faces. So we get a backstage confrontation with Theory and Dolph Ziggler. Did you see the little Easter egg? We had 2 more Easter eggs today. Theory throwing the bad mouth to Dolph Ziggler. Little weird where Dolph Ziggler was talking about how he earned the briefcase. Yes, I know Theory was put in the match, but Theory still won the match. It's not like he was just handed the briefcase, but Theory bad mouthing Dolph. One time you were Mr. Money in the Bank and you were heavyweight champion, but now you're a has-been. And Theory says, unlike Dolph Ziggler, he's not going to screw up the rest of his career. Kind of hit a little nerve with Dolph Ziggler. They start brawling. I love the way it was set up. They literally did a spot where they brawled into the camera and it went to black and they went to commercial. Really, really good the way they did it. But I don't know if you noticed, while they were brawling, there was a hand that was in the back opening a door. You got to go back. I couldn't find a screenshot of it, but somebody grabbed the door. We all think it's Dexter Lumis. All right, maybe. But that was one Easter egg. A little bit later on, when Drew McIntyre was in the back, somebody set a trash can on fire. So we had a little bit of a fire as well. So again, somebody, doing that. I know we could immediately think that it's Dexter Lumis, but the interesting thing about it is Dexter Lumis is in the back. So this is something I don't think anybody thought about. Dexter Lumis is in the back. He crashes a car last week. He sets a trash can on fire. He has his hands on the door. If he's in the back, then why is he running through the crowd? Right? Wouldn't he just run up the rampway? Wouldn't you want to get in the back and attack somebody in the back? How come when somebody's walking by, he doesn't just lay them out with a pipe or something? So it's that's why I don't know if it's Dexter Lumis when you really think about it. Could somebody be a mole within WWE, diverting attention and then allowing someone to sneak in the building? Aha! Something to think about. But the Easter eggs are fun. So we had 2 more this week. They set up the main event match later of Theory versus Dolph Ziggler. We get a backstage segment with Champa and The Miz. Champa lost. When he gets his next opportunity, he's going to win the title. Unfortunately, in WWE, you don't get any participation awards. And Miz blames AJ Styles. And Miz also thinks there's a little bit of controversy because why is AJ Styles getting a title shot against Bobby Lashley tonight? It's almost like he's being rewarded for interfering in Ciampa's match last week. So Miz goes and gives Ciampa as a little shot to Logan Paul. This is supposed to be like Pokemon cards that they wear, but instead it's a photo of Miz and Ciampa. I tell you, 2 weeks in a row, I think Ciampa's done a great job. The crowd is definitely warming up to Ciampa. I love his fucking music. Ciampa's theme right now might be my favorite theme on the main roster. I'm not exaggerating when I say that. I'm a Guido. I'm into disco. I'm into dance music. But I do have a soft spot for Ozzy Osbourne. And man, does that fucking music sound like Ozzy Osbourne. It sounds like Black Sabbath, Ozzy, whatever you want to put in it. It sounds so much like Ozzy Osbourne. But I'm enjoying it. And later on, we had a match, tag team match. Cedric Alexander doing double duty tonight. Cedric Alexander wrestled on Heat. And he wrestled on Heat. Stupid me. DT, wake up. It's not that late. He wrestled on Main Event. And he wrestled on Raw. Main event results from tonight: Shelton Benjamin over Cedric Alexander, the Street Profits over Alpha Academy. I saw people bitching today, why are the Street Profits on main event? Have you watched main event lately? Main event has had some kick-ass matches. Mustafa Ali versus Dijakovic T-Bar last week. Holy shit. Holy shit, was that awesome. And believe me, you can, what's funny? Like people blow up the AEW YouTube stuff. They make the elevation and dark stuff on YouTube feel so important. And yet you got main event and they throw it down like, the fuck is this person on main event for? The fuck are the Street Profits on main event? They're throwing out bangers on that show. So I have no problem with anybody that's on main event. When we see the same matches every single week, that's when you start complaining. But we had Tommaso Ciampa and The Miz. They took on Mustafa Ali and Cedric Alexander, and the match was awesome. I mean, if you took a shot tonight, every time the crowd chanted, "This is awesome," you probably were buzzed. We got more "This is awesome" chants than usual. And believe me, I know that term is very overused in this day and age, but when the crowd in unison is doing that, they're liking what they see. Sometimes you see it even with a pull apart. Sometimes you could have a stare down in the ring, and you'll see. Remember the Wyatt family and the Shield? I'll never forget that. The Wyatt family and the Shield, all they did was look at each other, and the crowd was going, "Holy shit! Holy shit! Holy shit!" Spectacular, man. Anytime you could get a crowd to chant, "This is awesome." Yeah, there are people there that truly are enjoying what they're seeing. They're not doing it just to feel like that they're part of a chant. So this match was great. Unfortunately, Mustafa Ali gets another loss. Miz gets the blind tag while Ali is in the ring with Ciampa. Mustafa Ali gets the upper hand on Miz. Basically, Mustafa Ali is going at it with Miz. Miz gets the blind tag to Ciampa. So now Ali sets up Miz, goes for the 450 splash. Unfortunately, Ali does not realize that Ciampa is not a legal man. So while Mustafa Ali sets up for the 450, Miz gets out of dodge. Ciampa shows up. Ciampa nails Ali midair with the knee. Fairy tale ending. 1, 2, 3. Great match. And Ciampa, I like what they're doing. I am so glad they didn't put the United States title on him last week. It would have been way too soon. And you would have had an excuse for the WWE haters out there to say, "Oh, look, he fucking put the belt so quickly on one of his friends, somebody that he likes." No, it was not time yet for Ciampa to get the title, and I like what they're doing so far. So great match. We had some excellent matches tonight. My God, talk about an excellent match. Drew McIntyre and Kevin Owens. Now, let's, again, just keep it in perspective. Yeah, the term wrestling is something that has always been said more in NXT with Triple H. Vince McMahon, since the 80s, has been calling it sports entertainment. It is still sports entertainment, but you can have the term wrestling used. And because Kevin Owens and Drew McIntyre throwing the word wrestling around, people online, I think they were crying. I think they were just so happy. They're saying wrestling again. Lighten the fuck up. Just be entertained. Call it wrestling. But they fucking killed it tonight. Drew McIntyre coming out, revealing to everyone that the back injury rumors are real. And believe me when I tell you, WWE is very concerned about Drew McIntyre right now. The early betting odds are Drew McIntyre to win this thing. And the way you feel everything's been going with Roman Reigns, if Drew doesn't take it now, Roman's keeping that shit till WrestleMania, I think. But a lot of people think that Drew McIntyre could win this championship. But his back is a little bit of an issue, more than an issue. They took him off house shows this weekend, and they are going to pull him off of another set of house shows, and they want to keep him good enough that he can do Clash at the Castle. Now, look, 17 minutes, whatever it was tonight with Kevin Owens, you would think this motherfucker's back can't be that bad because they killed it tonight. Drew McIntyre cutting a very passionate promo about his back, but his back hurts is because he's been carrying a load of 20 people, of what he's been doing the last 2 years. Guy's been busting his ass, and Drew McIntyre talks about somebody called him the chosen one the other day, and he's like, I was called the chosen one 15 years ago, and I got fired. And then he talks about his road to get back to WWE. And remember what I always tell you all, when you could cut a promo, base it on reality, it always feels and sounds 1,000 times better. That's what makes Eddie Kingston's promos awesome. That's what makes Homicide's promos so legendary. Anybody that can interject reality. That's why we said Heath Slater's promo right after Drew won the championship in the empty arena when Heath Slater showed up that one time on Raw. People say it's the greatest promo he ever cut. Yeah, because it was based on reality. When you can base, you have the privilege to base your promo on real life, then you don't have to worry about flubbing the words because it's coming from here, not from here. You don't have to memorize a certain thing. You have bullet points you have to make. You just throw it out there. I mean, you see even other wrestlers, when they cut promos. Look at William Regal. When William Regal showed up, I mean, people were just so pat. Look at Moxley when he came back from rehab. Everything that they said was real, and you felt it at the strings. And that's what happens. And Drew cut an amazing promo tonight. Kevin Owens comes out. Kevin Owens talks about, the history and where they were tonight. I think it was Battleground, was it? Where him and Sami Zayn tore it up, and it's a match that people still talk about today. And Kevin Owens thinks that, you know what? Maybe it's time for the prize fighter to return. Maybe it's time for the Kevin Owens of 5 years ago to return. The crowd is loving it. And Kevin Owens and Drew McIntyre going back and forth, cutting on promos on each other. And they said, let's do a match tonight. And they had a tremendous match. And yeah, we got the disqualification. And honestly, and I'm not just saying this because Triple H is at the helm. I'm saying it because I really believe it. The disqualification was the best way to end that match because it would have almost made no sense for Kevin Owens to get pinned tonight. And it would have been ridiculously stupid for Drew McIntyre to get pinned right before Clash at the Castle. So the Usos attacking Drew because of Clash at the Castle, it just adds drama to the storyline. And if you notice, Drew McIntyre holding his back more today, you're going to see a spot where they're going to try to take him out. You're going to see something done to his back, something done to his spine. Maybe they, chair bash the crap out of him. I don't think we'll see sledgehammers. That's Seth Rollins' deal. Now with Triple H no longer in the ring. But they're going to focus on that. You will see the back incorporated in the story leading up to Clash at the Castle. But they tore it up today. Had an incredible match. People want to see it more. And the Usos obviously caused the disqualification victory for Drew McIntyre. Then I showed you the spots earlier that were a little bit scary. The Usos ultimately would take out Drew. Kevin Owens would return to the ring, hit Drew with a stunner. Then Kevin Owens looks at the Usos and says, hey, tell your tribal chief he owes me one. Kevin Owens leaves. A lot of people, we talked about it over the weekend, a lot of people think it could be Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to be the team to dethrone the Usos. We talked about that on Saturday. That, I think, could very well be a storyline. They're going to turn on Sami Zayn. It's been set up for months now. The Bloodline ultimately is going to beat the living shit out of Sami Zayn. So does Kevin Owens make the save. Listen closely to what Kevin Owens said tonight. Kevin Owens said nobody is safe. He doesn't care if it's the United States title, the Intercontinental title, the tag titles. Kevin Owens said every championship today. He didn't say the 24/7, I don't think, but Kevin Owens is going to show up on SmackDown. And I think Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn they are going to reform. That could end up being the team to dethrone the Usos. It's going to be interesting. The Usos still don't have a team, an opponent for Clash at the Castle. Something's going to happen on Friday, I think, to change that. We'll see what happens. Riddle is shown. Everybody thinks it's simulcast. You know, I joked on social media earlier that Seth Rollins was going to roll up on Riddle today. You know, all the buzz was that Riddle was, in fact, going to be in the arena. So Riddle is on what we think is simulcast as far as TV goes. Rollins is in the ring. And they start throwing jabs at each other. And Riddle reveals that he is cleared. And when he sees Seth Rollins, and we'll be doing a contest. I know it was a little later. So we'll do it in about 5 minutes. We don't need to get into every detail with the other matches. We'll just do an overview. But Riddle says, I'm medically cleared. And when I see you again, it's on. And Seth Rollins is like, was it on when I bitched you out at Madison Square Garden? Every time I see you, you know, his futility, you know, it's on. But Seth Rollins always one step ahead. And Riddle says, you know what? I'm not outside of the arena at home. In fact, I'm cleared and I'm in the building and I'm going to hit that ring right now and kick your ass. And I see Riddle running in the back, running down the rampway with his slippers, his sandals. He chases Rollins and runs up the arena with no shoes on. And I tell you, that's risky, man, especially when you're in an arena where there could be tons of debris on the floor. You never know what's on the freaking floor. And he's running up those steps without shoes on, and the crowd is loving it. And it is official, everyone. Seth Rollins will be facing Riddle at Clash at the Castle. You know what I loved about tonight also? The Randy Orton references starting to dwindle down a little bit. And sure, the Randy Orton situation is going to heat up very, very soon. But, you know, Riddle being focused on Rollins first and foremost and not doing this for Randy or anything else, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And I think the less they bring up Randy, the more of it's going to feel like a surprise when Randy hits. So, all right. We had some promo packages to set up Bobby Lashley and AJ Styles tonight. Veer Mahan beats someone by the name of Bo Keller. No relation to Wade. We had the backstage segment with Dakota Kai, Io Sky, Bayley, Dana Brooke. Dakota Kai makes quick use of Dana Brooke. It was what it was. Bobby Lashley retains the United States Championship against AJ Styles, dueling chants throughout the whole match. Champa and Miz show up, and the referee does nothing about it, which I thought was a little goofy. But then we had an interesting moment. You got to look at it closely, because last week, everybody thought Dexter Lumis was going after AJ Styles. Go back and watch it tonight. You had, on the opposite side of the ring, you had Ciampa distracting the referee, and Bobby Lashley is just twiddling his thumbs on the other side of the ring, and the referee's distracted. AJ Styles is laid out on the mat on the outside, and Miz is methodically going up to AJ, teasing that he's going to hit AJ. Next thing you know, Dexter Lumis hops the barricade right by the announcer's table, and two security guys take him down, and they take him away. Look at Dexter Lumis right before he was taken down. It looked like he would have gone after Miz. He had this look at Miz, not like, hey, how you doing? How's everything going? You know, thanks for opening the door. Dexter Lumis, I don't think anybody should jump the gun yet and say, is he going for AJ Styles? Remember what I told you last week? So Dexter, and when we came back from commercial break, Jimmy Smith acknowledged that it was Dexter Lumis, which is a relief because at least we know they're not changing his name. He's not going to be like, Leo Friedman or whatever name. Good, they're keeping him Dexter Lumis. Dexter, people always said Dexter sounds like a nerdy name. It's okay. That's all right. So Bobby Lashley beats AJ Styles with the spear. And we get the main event as we opened up the show. You had Theory beat Dolph Ziggler. Felt like Dolph Ziggler, big time, passing the torch to Theory. I know you wouldn't think like, hey, Dolph Ziggler passing the torch to anyone. This felt like, what Dolph Ziggler did for Braun Breaker. I had the same feeling tonight. What Dolph Ziggler did for Theory, in my opinion, maybe more powerful than what he did with Braun Breaker. Remember, Ziggler won the NXT Championship for a little while. And remember the history with Ziggler and Champa also, in NXT. I thought the match was great. I mean, we had more kickouts than usual. I know we're kind of used to that in AEW. It did feel a little bit like an AEW match for anybody who really paid close attention to it, but Theory earned that victory. And they went off the air with just that. No controversy, no run-ins, no, shit from the back. No cameras, come here, cameras, go to the back. Nothing. Ziggler winning, go off the air. Pretty damn good. Pretty, almost ballsy. And that's good because it reels in some people too. Because I think some people were getting a little bit too comfortable. And, this is something that's a problem with AEW. And it's obvious, even if you're a huge supporter, you can't deny it, that a lot of people got used to the crack-a-jack surprises. They want the lights to go off and on every week. They want someone to show up that's unexpected. Everybody wants that crack-a-jack surprise. And when you feel like everything, has to be a surprise every week, that's when you don't deliver, it feels like you're not giving as much as you should. So this is Triple H reeling everybody in, and also shutting the people up that was saying that Theory was going to be buried by Triple H because Theory is a Vince McMahon guy, not a Triple H guy. They're both wrong. Anybody that says it, you're both wrong. Theory is a WWE guy. Theory just did an interview over the weekend and praised Bruce Pritchard. You're not going to see any coverage of it. How dare somebody with such a bright future, as young as Theory and as talented as Theory, how dare he say that he likes Bruce Pritchard? He gets along with Bruce Pritchard. How dare he? When you don't see anybody covering it, just remember things like that. So, great episode of Raw tonight. So, start getting ready, everyone. Maybe you don't type it yet, but maybe you want to type it in the chat box, but don't hit enter. Right now, you should type what you think the AEW Dynamite rating is going to be. And remember, whoever comes closest first will win the little Sting prize package. So don't wait too long, because you pick a rating, someone else picks it before you, you make that entry, whatever your entry is, that's it. You delete your entry, you're out. If you add a second entry, I take you first. And believe me, I watched the video back. There's no way you can finagle that. So don't hit enter yet, but get it ready, because we're going to do it in about 2 minutes. So SmackDown's rating from Friday, 1,927,000. As I said earlier, I saw a lot of websites that all they reported was SmackDown was down from last week. They did not tell you that SmackDown was preempted due to preseason football in about 24 markets. That is so disrespectful, and it just shows you how ghetto some people are out there. They'll add the follow-up post later on because nobody's going to pay attention to it, but SmackDown was preempted in 25 markets, I believe. So that's why the rating went under 2 million. We talked about it on Saturday. Don't put too much into the SmackDown rating because it was preempted in a lot of markets. And, people left that out. You'd be surprised. Some of the big important reporters out there left that out, conveniently left that out. Rampage did 528, which surprised a lot of people because a lot of people thought Rampage sucked this week. Outside of Bryan Danielson and Daniel Garcia, this was an episode you easily could have forgotten about. But they did 528. Impact Wrestling did 131, a little bit more than usual. Somebody asked me the other day, what rating do I think Impact Wrestling should have where I feel that they're on a little? They got to go over 200,000 viewers. The fact that Impact can't get 200,000 viewers is so ridiculous. It is beyond ridiculous. This is a company that at one point, you look at their history, and they could bring in AEW people, New Japan. They could bring in they got Kushida in there right now. You look at their roster alone should do 200,000 viewers. And when I see it sometimes go below 100, I'm like, the fuck? I could see if it aired 1 o'clock in the morning, even 10 o'clock at night. It's on 8 to 10 p.m. You can't get any better than that. It's not even going up against anything major, and they can't get 200,000 viewers. All right. So let's do this contest. So, again, whoever comes closest is going to win that autographed photo of Sting and the Sting bubble gum unopened. Do whatever you want with it. Put it on eBay. Eat it. Put it on your dresser, your collection. I don't care. Your toothbrush. It is unopened either. That is not open. So someone will get all three. So I am going to, no, we're not doing any contest on Friday. I do contests when I feel like them. And when people start expecting it, that's when there's no contest. So I do it as a little thank you for everybody for tuning in and showing support for what I do. And if I got it, I'd rather share it with you. You know, I know some people out there like to make fun that we do giveaways. No, I like to see people having a good time and enjoying themselves. And, you know, it's always fun to try to win something. Sometimes I have people win and they say, I don't want the prize. You know, give it to somebody else. I just wanted to be part of it and have fun. You know, why is that such an awful thing? All right. So I am getting ready. I'm going to type the word go in the chat. Run DMG, you're a little too early. Don't put it yet. I'm going to type go right now. Once I put the word go, you have about a minute to post it. And by the way, tonight's episode brought to you by Manscaped, the Performance Package 4.0. While everybody puts their entry, I will tell you what we have because we have a new deal this week. We are going back to school. And believe me, you want to graduate with a degree of clean shaven balls. Yes. I've actually been told that I could say that. Ready? Contest, set, go. Today's episode is brought to you by Manscaped, the leaders in below-the-waist grooming. It is back to school time, everyone, and you better make sure if you go to school and you're at the gym, if you're doing volleyball, softball, whatever it is, gym, you unfortunately get injured, and somehow they need to check out your private parts, you want to make sure that you're groomed down there. Hey, if you're in college, you might meet someone and you might go into the woods. Hey, let's hang out for a little while. You know, you don't want someone to pull your pants down and see a little Don King hanging out over there. So go be the valedictorian of your class. Join 6 million men worldwide who go to manscaped.com, pick up the new Performance Package 4.0. They got a brand new Lawnmower 4.0. They got a weed whacker for your ears and your nose. You ever look at your nose lately and that hair that's growing out of it? You look at your ear and there's like pieces of hair growing out on your inside. Imagine if somebody wants to suck on your earlobe and they see a fucking piece of hair over there. And for some reason, the hair is always gray. So you get it all. You get the Lawnmower 4.0. You get the weed whacker to trim your nose hair and your ear hair. You get the crop preserver. You get ball deodorant. It's actually called ball deodorant. Your balls smell. You're at gym. You're playing a little bit in the schoolyard. Your balls smell. They actually have ball deodorant. Actually, let me post a picture of it on the screen because I got a picture of it right here. Not only do you get the Lawnmower 4.0, not only do you get the Weed Whacker, you also get the ball deodorant, the crop reviver, the toner. You also get as an extra gift, you get the boxer briefs, you get a travel bag, the 4th generation trimmer, the lawnmower, waterproof. It's got an LED light. So if you have a big stomach like me and you really can't see down there because you got some rolls in the way, you get a little extra light down there. Wrestleverse, welcome. Contest is almost over. So when I'm done plugging this, the contest is over. So you get everything that I said. You always want to go the same way I said. You get your crop mower, your lawn mower, you trim it down there a little bit. You don't want to go in there with a Don King set of hair. Did you see what happened with Ortiz on AEW Dynamite? They tried to use clippers with that fucking hair, and he started mangling. Remember Raven and TNA? You remember that? That was worse than a horror film. That's because you got to cut it down nicely before you start trying to do a close shave. So that's the purpose of the lawnmower 4.0. You trim it down nicely. You go in the shower. You exfoliate. You clean everything nice. You put the gel on. Everything is nice and cool. And then you shave it as close as you want. So do not be in a situation where you go to school and do gym and you have to shower in front of everyone. Do not be that person that if you unfortunately fall and break an ankle and you got to go to the hospital and for some reason they need to see you in your tighty whities, if you meet that significant other, whether you like your M&M's plain or with peanut, and maybe you go to a drive-in, maybe you go into a back alley, maybe you go into the woods, you don't want to be in a situation, where you pull your pants down and you hear this. I'm improvising, everyone. Yeah, I've dealt with that before. You know what's funny, everyone? And the contest is just about over. You know what's funny? When Manscaped asked me, they wanted me to plug their stuff, and I use their stuff. They're like, talk about like when you were in college. And I laughed. What's so funny? I never went to fucking college. I showed up for 1 week. That was it. I never went to college. I dropped out. So I can't talk about my college stories. So I could talk about, no, we're not. All right, everyone, contest over. So tomorrow I will go watch this episode back. I will see what the Raw rating is. I don't wish this on anyone, but I always get an extra smile on my face when someone wins by like 5 viewers, because I do the eBay route. I go back to eBay 20 years. And if you want to win something and the current bid is $10 and the thing normally sells for 20, and you kind of worried that somebody might have a little bit of reserve going on there, or they may have some bids sitting there, and I wait till 5 seconds before the auction and I type in something like $8.77. And back in the day when the auctions closed, you got to see what the last bid was before you. And I can't tell you how many times I said to myself, you know what? This son of a bitch is going to bid $9.99. I'm going to bid $10.04. And sometimes I would win auctions by like 2 cents, 3 cents. And I used to get messages and I used to get threats. You motherfucker. You stole that auction. I lost it by 2 cents. You prick bastard. I'm like, yeah. Dun, dun. All right. Yeah, this was for Dynamite, everyone. What did I say? It's the AEW Dynamite rating. You see it on the thing. It's the AEW Dynamite rating. I never said Rampage. We were talking about Rampage earlier, but no, this is the AEW Dynamite. That's the contest. I said Raw. It's okay. Everybody knew that it was Dynamite, so that's okay. You know what I'll do? You know what? Let me scroll up. We're almost done, by the way, everyone. Let me scroll up. Let me see if anybody was stupid enough to put Raw ratings. All right, you know what we'll do? No, well, a few people put some. No, you know what? You know what I'll do? For anyone out there that's like over, you know what? This is what I'll do. All right, this is what I'll do. I have more than one Sting autograph photo. What I'll do is if I'll look at the higher ratings, and if anybody predicted the Raw rating by mistake, then I'll pick whoever is closest to Raw also, and you can have a choice. You can have one of these Liv Morgan sign Money in the Bank photos. She took this picture right before she cashed it in, which was pretty awesome. You could either have that or you could have this Sting photo. The gum and the toothpaste I can't do. I could give you a Goldberg gum, but that's for another contest. So, all right. What do we have left to talk about? We don't have that much left to talk about. Let's see. Oh, Ronda Rousey. WWE is testing out asshole Ronda Rousey on the house shows, and she is killing it. I know her promos are like verbal Xanax. I know they're like sleeping medicine for all of us. Let me tell you something. And I don't think it's because Vince retired and Triple H is the helm. I think Ronda Rousey is starting to find her groove. And her groove is to be an obnoxious asshole to fans. She's actually having a good time. She was mimicking, making fun of Raquel Rodriguez over the weekend in a tag match. She is trolling fans, and she is having a ball doing it. And I want to show you a video. It's only a few seconds, but this is a great example of it. After the match is over, she goes up the rampway, and there are fans with phones that want to do selfies. And she'll grab somebody's phone, and she won't do a selfie with them. She don't keep the phone, but here in this case, she grabs a fan's phone, and she does do a selfie. But she actually grabs the phone. Watch what she does. She grabs the phone, and she goes to the other side, takes the selfie, and then gives the person back the phone, and she runs away. That is fucking awesome. That is awesome. That's like me when I was younger, and there'd be a dog, and you have a biscuit. How many times you have a dog with a biscuit, like, hey, you want the biscuit? And you pull it away at the last second? That's what Ronda Rousey, she's trolling people. She's fucking grabbing phones. Take it. I'll show it one more time. Look, she grabs the phone. Give me the phone. I'll do a selfie. Give me the phone. Give me the phone. Yeah, I'll do a selfie. Yeah, just not with you. I'll go on the opposite side. Look, I'm going to take a selfie. And she gives the phone back and she runs away. And she's, oh my God, that's awesome. That is awesome. Asshole Ronda. I'm not going to put it in Brock Lesnar territory. Asshole Ronda is going to be one of the more entertaining heels on the main roster. Mark my words, if WWE starts allowing her to do some of these antics on SmackDown, I'm telling you. But you know what's weird about it? You know what's weird about it too? This is the problem. She just trolled that fan big time. A lot of fans around that fan, other fans, are laughing at that fan. She fucking trolled you. She punked you out. So what Ronda's doing is getting a positive response from the fans. The fans are digging her even more. So, look, the only way she's going to really turn full-blown heel, or enhance it, is she's going to probably have to make little kids cry. I don't think WWE wants to go that route. Ronda just needs to be an asshole. Yes, Crest says Ronda needs to bully fans on Twitter. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that because you get yourself in a bad situation, especially if it comes off as storyline or she's just trying to be an asshole on Twitter just to be an asshole on Twitter. What she's doing there, you see her laughing as she's running away. She seems like she's legitimately having a great time. So you need to see her face. You got to see her antics. You can't, with Twitter, you're just looking at text. It's not, that's why I never liked when wrestlers feud with each other on Twitter for storyline. Sometimes it's real, no question. A lot of times it's storyline. And I hate that shit on Twitter when it's storyline. You want to see the person. You want to feel that emotion. So, I'm enjoying it. I'm watching it, and there's a lot more footage online with Ronda. You just got to go seek it out. You see what she's doing on the house shows. Let me tell you something. She's gonna kill it. She's getting in her zone. And sure, when you're on nationwide TV with the cameras are on Fridays, it's a different animal. But you could see she's finding it, and the crowd is loving it at the same time. So, all right. Lio Rush caused a little bit of controversy today. I felt bad for him. Sure, he might have been teasing something that wasn't the case. But all Lio Rush did was go on Twitter and post this picture of him with Bobby Lashley. Now, I don't know how you all feel about when Lio Rush used to be with Lashley. Lashley. I will always say it. I wish Lio Rush was still in WWE when they were doing the Lashley-Lana segments, because I would have popped big time when Lashley was in the bed with Lana, and right before they teased that they're going to, go at it, I would have popped if I would have heard in the background Lio Rush going, Lashley. Oh, man. But I think he was just showing a little love for Bobby Lashley. Some people interpreted that, maybe he's teasing that he's coming back to WWE. Yeah, it could be interpreted, but he got ripped apart. Go on his Twitter if you think I'm kidding. I mean, you always see a few comments, but I went on that post and I went down the list. And I was like, holy shit, why are people so mad at Lio Rush? I know, it didn't work out with AEW, but guy's not a bad guy and fucking talented. Like, all right, maybe you don't want him with Lashley. I get that, but you got to see there was like an anger. There was a legit anger going on his page. Pretty fucked up. Go look at it. You'll see what I'm talking about. So, last topic for tonight. I didn't want to save it for last, but we might as well. All right, let's talk a little bit about Gefälscht Nachrichten. Fake news. Listen, I got emails from a few people that are tuning in right now that, I put Vince's head on there. It didn't come out that bad. Maybe his head was a little too big. I tried to make the skin tone match Ludwig Keiser's hands. Ludwig Keiser has like pinkish skin. So Vince is always uber tanned. But here's the thing, everybody. I posted a preview. And I got a couple of emails. And one of the things that I hate the most about feedback I get, I don't mind feedback. I don't mind if people disagree with me. I don't mind if people really want to challenge me on stuff, want to debate me. That's fine. What I hate is when people say to me, ooh, well, so-and-so said the opposite. Or, oh, so-and-so said this. You're calling out so-and-so. Yeah, motherfucker, I don't tune into other people's shows during the week. I just don't have the time. It's not that I'm not a fan. I think with my own head. I have my own sources. I have my views on things. And you best damn believe I'm not going to change what I'm going to report or say about something because one of my friends said the opposite. I'll never do that. And I don't expect them to ever do that either. And I fucking hate that. Like yesterday, I posted about the Bray Wyatt Vince stuff. And I got at least 10 emails afterwards saying, wow, so-and-so's not going to be happy with you after what you said. I'm like, my shit is not to challenge anybody out there. I'm telling you what I know and what I hear. And if someone heard the opposite, that's fine. You are the one to decide who is correct or not, who makes the better point, whatever it is. Please do not do that to me, because 9 times out of 10, I will just delete what you say. I don't care if you super chat me. I don't care if you blow me. I'm not going to go for that stuff, because 99.9% of the time, I don't see any of you going on their pages and saying, well, Don Tony said that Brock Lesnar did not quit. Don Tony said that Vince McMahon talked to Brock. Don Tony said that it's not going to be TV 14. Don Tony said that the case is almost over. That week, people were like, "Oh my God, the investigation is about to explode. It's gonna reveal so much other stuff." That was July 25th, and I said, "No, investigation is about done. It's just about over." I don't see any of you going on their pages and saying, "Well, Don Tony is saying the opposite." So please don't do that to me. So my point is, when I talk about stuff here, I'm telling you what I know, what I believe. And my style is that I'm not trying to get views. I'm trying to get things right. And the reports of Vince McMahon falling out of favor with Gunther, wanting to bury Gunther, job him out of the championship, release Ludwig Keiser. That is 100% bullshit. Don't take my word for it. Go check out a whole bunch of interviews that Gunther has been doing for the last couple of months. There is no hint, no sign whatsoever that there were any issues with him and Vince McMahon. He has done interviews since Vince McMahon left. Any news or rumors and I've been saying this since the night Vince retired, that Friday night. Any news that comes out that has to do with Vince McMahon outside of that investigation, none of it is going to be true unless somebody specific in WWE says that it's true. Because, as I've always said, Vince McMahon is not going to call anybody out on social media and accuse them of lying. Plus, Vince McMahon has such a small inner circle. Who the fuck do you think within WWE around Vince McMahon was going to get from Vince McMahon directly that what they claimed he said about Shane, what he said about Gunther, that Vince McMahon said that if Wyndham Bray Wyatt said that stuff, different. Okay. If somebody in WWE that was close with Vince McMahon says, Vince didn't like this person, Vince planned to do this, Vince this, Vince that, that's different. Once Vince retired, I remember Wade Keller was the first culprit of it. My sources tell me that the vibe behind the scenes is very shocked and surprised and kind of relief. Yeah, and you could say that about anybody. That's not news. Remember with the Shane McMahon stuff that he said? People just try to make things up because it just sounds good. And people run with it. Vince McMahon did not fall. What's happening with Gunther right now reminds me of Keith Lee Elimination Chamber. When people said Keith Lee, Vince McMahon pulled Keith Lee from Elimination Chamber because he has nothing for Keith Lee. And the truth was Keith Lee was fighting for his life in the hospital. And I'll never forget, once that was revealed, and people like, oops. I remember Mia Yim said, can you let up a little bit? Can we be better in the future? And some of the guiltiest culprits are like, yeah, we need to be better. We need to be better. And they're not better. They're worse. Vince McMahon is the easiest one to do right now because Vince will not call out fake news to anyone. And again, I ask you, when anybody pulls that stuff that Vince wanted to bury Gunther, who told you that? Who told you that? Oh, I can't reveal my sources. Okay. Then you take a step back and you think to yourself, who the fuck in WWE do you think was in the inner circle with Vince McMahon that was talking to these people online? You think Bruce Pritchard is leaking that stuff? You think Nick Khan is leaking that stuff? You think Jose that works as the janitor? Oh, you do not believe what I heard Vince say. I was cleaning the toilet and I heard Vince say, all right, Tony the janitor. So nobody, you fucking racist. Hey, how you doing? Hey, you're not going to believe this shit. I was fucking cleaning the toilets, and I heard fucking Vince talking about Shane, and he's like, hey, Shane will never fucking see the light of day in WWE again, eh? You believe that shit? His own fucking son, he stabbed him in the goddamn back. Who do you think in WWE that was that close to Vince McMahon that is going to put this shit out there? Why does this shit always come out after the person is gone? The stuff with Gunther is bullshit. It is bullshit. The idea that Gunther was going to be buried and Ludwig Keiser was going to be released, it's based on bullshit. Just like the Bray Wyatt stuff, just like everything else. You know, remember the reasons why Bray Wyatt took time away from wrestling. If you search it, you will find a lot of it. There is no major controversy here. And again, a lot of people, because of that stereotype with Vince, John Laurinaitis, and Bruce Pritchard, and Kevin Dunn, those four guys, the four horses assmen, as a lot of people like to call them, they're always going to be the ones that people are going to use and bring up. So this report that Vince was going to bury Gunther is bullshit. It's bullshit. It's based on bullshit. It's based on the fact that it just makes Triple H look more like a savior. Thank you, Hunter. Thank you, Paul, for not doing to Gunther what Vince was going to do. Thank you, Booker of the Year, for giving new life. Thank you for not doing this. Thank you for doing it. And what the fuck are they going to say the first time somebody they like gets released? Somebody they like gets jobbed out? Somebody they like doesn't get the opportunity? They act like Triple H was picture perfect in NXT. So, listen, guys, I wish that I could say otherwise about this story, but the fact is, anything you read accusing Vince McMahon of something other than taking his pee-pee out, trust me when I tell you, it is based on foundation of bullshit. There is nobody in WWE right now that was that close to Vince that is chatting in DMs with anybody that has a podcast, anybody that has a website, anybody that has a Patreon, anybody that has a newsletter. There is nobody that close to Vince that Vince is going to get that deep, that hardcore into conversation. There is nobody on the creative team that is a mole over there. There is nobody. And you want to produce names? Challenge me on it. Give me names who you think it's going to be. You think that there's Leanne Smith, some unknown person working in creative that we had no idea this person worked in creative? There is nobody. People just guess. People just put it out there because they think they have an exclusive. And they know that there's nobody in WWE that's going to call them out on their bullshit. Use common sense, and 99% of the time, you will be right. That is the premise of sausage. Do you realize every item we called sausage over the last 6 weeks has happened? Every fucking one. I know some of you out there still don't know. Hey, DT, what do you mean by the sausage stuff? Eventually you'll realize, you'll figure it out. Everything, every single one ended up happening. Does that make me Nostradamus? Am I the devil in disguise that I could predict the future that good? Am I an unbelievable insider? Sure, I have a couple of connections, but I'm not a news reporter anymore. I don't want to be a news reporter. But I'm throwing the sausage out there to show you how ridiculously, you don't think that I can't just start reporting news again and just live off the sausage posts? Every single thing that we posted ended up being right. Every single one. Every single one. So use common sense. 9 times out of 10, you will get it right. But as long as people out there buy into the bullshit, you're going to keep being fed bullshit. And trust me, it's not fun for me to always try to weed out the bullshit, you know, but believe me, Bray Wyatt, sooner or later, is going to talk about why he left wrestling. And when people realize that Vince McMahon trying to bury him and hated him and this and that is not in the sentence, those same people are going to accuse him of lying or accuse him of not bringing it up because he wants to be in the good graces of WWE. You could see that a mile away. So when Vince did the interview with Pat McAfee, and for 2-3 years we've been talking about the stock and everything like that. When Vince started telling Pat McAfee what everybody else was telling the opposite, people accused Vince McMahon of lying. When Triple H talked to Stephen A. Smith and Triple H said with NXT, if you can't, you 6 months, whatever it is, you can't turn it. There's always going to be turnover, and we're going to always be. And people like, oh, he's just saying that because he's part of corporate. Yeah, everybody else is lying. I'll never forget when AJ Styles corrected that website when they reported that AJ Styles re-signed, and AJ Styles said, no, not so fast. I didn't sign the contract yet. And instead of the people saying, wow, we got an exclusive, AJ Styles just contacted us. Said he hasn't signed yet. They actually went back to AJ Styles and said, no, we don't believe you. Imagine that. And no wonder why wrestlers don't fucking like the news and all this other stuff. Those cocksuckers are so disrespectful, it's not even funny. But, all right. Yeah, we'll stick to our sources. I remember that, Benjamin. That's awful. That's awful. Sometimes I get DMs from wrestlers, and they'll tell me, bro, this. Don't mention my name, though. I'm like, fine. And if it's not true, I don't even bring it up. There's been a couple of things with some wrestlers that people have said, hey, is this true? Is this true? Is this true? And never gets brought up on the show because it's not true. So, all right. I'm going to jet out of here. I thank everybody for joining me tonight. We're only at 90. That can't be. We're only at 96 minutes. Wow. Feels like we've been talking forever. Well, we have this week. Let me take Gunther off the screen. It's sponsored. It's presented by House of the Dragon. We have Toni Storm versus Kylan King because AEW can only push 2 women at a time. And I don't mean 2 women in the ring. It seems like it's Jade Cargill and Athena, or it's Toni Storm and Thunder Rosa, and everybody else just feels like, they're just coming along. Toni Storm versus Kylan King. We have Andrade teaming up with Rush and Dragon Lee taking on the Young Bucks. Oh, wait, I forgot to bring up some supers here. Super. Ronald Crack Donald, Kenny Omega, or Hangman Page as the Young Bucks tag team partner. Guys, who do you think the Young Bucks partner is going to be? I've seen the teasing online. I've seen the Young Bucks clips. Oh, they're playing Kenny Omega's song. I could hear Kenny in the background, as if Kenny doesn't work behind the scenes for all of these months and almost a year. Like, oh my God, is that Kenny Omega's voice? Yeah, because he works there. I don't think it's going to be Kenny Omega. I honestly don't. I think it's going to be Hangman Page. If it's Kenny Omega, that's awesome. It's awesome, but at the same time, the guy hasn't wrestled in 9 months just because welcome back. Why should he be thrown right into the trios tournament? Why should he? Has him and the Young Bucks won any matches in the last 9 months as a trios? No. I almost feel it's too obvious. I almost feel that all of the hints of Kenny Omega, I think it could end up being Hangman Page. I personally think Hangman Page is better suited. Sure, Kenny Omega. See, people need to remember this. Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly are going to be cleared very, very soon. So Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole, and Bobby Fish are going to be feuding with the Young Bucks and somebody. The question is who? Is it Hangman Page or is it Kenny Omega? That's how you have to look at it. Forget the trios tournament for a second. This is going to be a feud. So the question is, who does Adam Cole go up against? Kenny Omega sounds the more ideal because of the past storyline. But, man, I tell you, especially with the Young Bucks being baby faces right now, I got to stick with Hangman Page. I agree. My gut feeling says Kenny Omega. But I almost feel it's a little too obvious online for it to be Kenny Omega. So I'm going to go with Hangman Page. I'll just be a little bit different with it. I'll answer, yeah, Cruiserweight, I'm going to have to PayPal you $2 back. Because honestly, I don't think, you know what, I will answer. I don't think Thea Hale would look cute in an adult diaper. I don't even think my grandfather, if he was still alive, would look cute in an adult diaper. I'm not going to lie. It's like not my boat. That's not my boat. So I'll answer CJ Rock, but thank you for that. CJ Rocks with Triple H in charge, cruiserweight. Do you think it's possible we see a Braun Breaker name change to Rex Steiner? No. Braun Breaker came up with that name. I don't see it. People, I understand people are going to try to get Triple H to reverse everything they didn't like that Vince did. And Triple H is not going to do that. You will see some names tweaked. We talked about that already. But, just because, look at everybody now, please get rid of Butch, call him Pete Dunne. I think they will go back to Pete Dunne. All right, that's fine. Oh, no, we need Braun Breaker to change to Rex Steiner. Oh, no, we have to have this person's name. Oh, this person, where does it end? Where does it end? Triple H is not going to try to reverse everything that Vince McMahon did that we didn't like, for the simple reason that not everything that we don't like means that Triple H don't like it either. And if Triple H goes and starts changing things to please a very small unit of the noise out there, then that noise is going to think they got power. There are people out there that think that they forced Vince McMahon out. Vince McMahon's dick forced Vince McMahon out of office. There are people out there that think that Triple H is listening to what they're saying. That Triple H is watching their shows, reading their newsletters, listening to their podcasts. Triple H listens to the investors and the advertisers. That's who he is. And then he obviously pays attention to the fans. Since when in the decades of Triple H doing something do you think that he just listened to the IWC? And if you tell me NXT, I tell you, how the fuck did NXT with 700,000 viewers that made GOTS and merchandise? I never saw anybody other than an Undisputed Era shirt. You tell me how if Triple H ran WWE like he did with NXT, how that would make millions and billions. You show me the template where NXT drew 1 million. Let's do this. Well, NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. It's not fucking NXT TakeOver Brooklyn anymore because they got to build the stars of tomorrow. This is like Florida Championship Wrestling. That's what it is. People try to take 5 different eras and bunch it together and say, oh, God, I'm going to name my next child Hunter. It can't be. It can't be. There's a lot of things I would love to see changed that it's not going to be changed. So, all right, let's get back with the previews and call it a night. So again, for Wednesday, we got Danielson versus Garcia, 2 out of 3 falls. The Varsity Blondes versus the Gun Club. I'm very interested to see how much attention the Gun Club keeps getting on national TV. I personally think in about 2 or 3 weeks that fizzles away, just like they did with Private Party a long time ago, just like they did with the Acclaimed not too long ago. Remember when the Acclaimed were number 1 contenders? We were like, you give that 2 weeks and you see what happens. And they were done. And you saw Private Party, they were number 1 contenders. And then everybody those young teams of tomorrow, I have yet to see one really break out and become tag team champions and have a decent run with it. And please don't tell me Swerve and Keith Lee, because I still feel like Swerve and Keith Lee might have been given those tag belts to send a statement to Vince McMahon, like, oh, you see, we treated Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland the way they should have been treated in WWE. So no Q&A, Charlie. We did it yesterday, and tomorrow I have a mailbag that I have to record still. So we're about done. NXT, tomorrow we have Heatwave. Yay, Heatwave. Braun Breaker versus JD McDonough. Please let this end. JD McDonough is uber talented. Braun Breaker, I'm a huge fan of. This feud has sucked. It is just not clicked. I'm sorry, it just has not clicked. Carmelo Hayes versus Giovanni Vinci. I'm starting to warm up on Vinci. I did predictions last Wednesday for anybody that wants to check them out. I like this. Santos Escobar versus Tony D'Angelo. I hate the stipulation, man. Maybe they throw us a curveball and D'Angelo wins. But it almost feels like it's got to be Escobar. Because if Escobar was going to leave and go to the main roster, why wouldn't you simply do loser leaves NXT? Simple, right? Easy peasy, right? You just have that sit down from last week. Hey, this is what we do. You know what? I win, you're out of NXT. You win, I'm out of NXT. Hey, what about Stacks? What are you going to do with that? Don't worry about Stacks. He's a big boy. He can handle himself. I lose, I'm out of NXT. You lose, you're out of NXT. No, it's got to be. If I lose, Legado is free. Free for what? I could take him out on a date for nothing? Free for what? They clean my house for free? Oh, Legado, if I lose, Legado is free. I thought that was awful. Seriously. And if motherfucker Santos Escobar loses, they should have just done loser leaves NXT. It would have been so much harder to call. So, Mandy Rose versus Zoe Stark, which will be fun. And don't forget Cora Jade versus Roxanne Perez. I don't know why that's not a street fight. I mean, I do know why, because Tony D'Angelo and Santos Escobar is a street fight. Well, you got a more deeper feud over there. I mean, I know Santos Escobar just showed up and now, the families are no longer together. But I think if people really looked at it, they would prefer to have Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade have the street fight, especially since Cora Jade is not totally ready for prime time yet as far as in the wrestling department. You saw that with Zoe Stark last week. I'm a huge fan of Cora Jade. She's going to kill it. She's going to kill it. She is going to be one of those big names that are going to come to the women's division within a year. But still, I just think, why do I want to see Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade wrestle? Sure, they could still brawl, but you want a street fight. It's probably going to end up with a disqualification. It's probably going to end up in a no contest. Maybe they just go outside of the ring and they brawl and the referees cannot contain it. And the match gets thrown out. And then it ends up with a street fight down the line. So, all right. I'm out of here. I hope everybody had a great night tonight. I had fun, as always. I thank you very much for your support. For my Patreon family, tomorrow night I will be live right after NXT. I'm sure we will talk a little bit about Heatwave. I think tomorrow is off the cuff as well, so we'll have a very lighthearted show talking about everything. Tomorrow afternoon, I am going to record the Q&A. Remember, we were going to do the mailbag last Thursday, but, schedule kind of like fucked me up a little bit. So we decided to hold off the mailbag until tomorrow. So I will record the mailbag tomorrow. I don't know if I'll release it tomorrow. I might. Maybe I'll hold it till Thursday. We'll see. But everybody that sent in questions, I will get into all of them, and just excellent questions. Some of you are going to be really, really surprised with some of these questions that came in. I mean, even some of them kind of like and they're very, very good conversation questions that will definitely spark more combos. So, all right. If neither one of those things interest you, I'll be here Wednesday night after Dynamite. We'll talk about Dynamite. We'll talk about NXT. And just remember, the week of the 10th of September, I will not be doing shows. I will be in Florida on my honeymoon. I might stream one night over there, just chilling, hanging out. So we'll probably do like a little stream there. And if it's got a good response, maybe we'll do two. But for that week, I will be off. So just make notes of it. I will not be around the 3rd for obvious reasons, but maybe the 4th, maybe we'll do an all-out recap. We'll see. I might be totally hungover. I don't know. But much love, everyone. I want to thank you, as always, for the support. Big shout-out to Xylot Deems. He's always showing love, and he sent me this. I did not know that the new AEW commercial for Dynamite The Don Tony sign made the commercial. So now every time you see an AEW commercial on the air, you're forced to see a little love for Don Tony. So that is awesome. Much love, much love. So, all right, everybody, I'm out of here. Have a great night. All the best. And I'll catch you either tomorrow or Wednesday. Be well.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a podcaster. For me to live any other way was nuts. To me, those goody-good people who worked shitty jobs for bum paychecks and took the subway to work every day and worried about their bills were dead. I mean, they were suckers. They had no balls. If I wanted something, I just took it. I ran everything. I paid the bills. I paid the host. I even paid the masked maniac. Everybody had their hands out. Everything was for the taking. We always called each other good fellas. You would always hear from somebody. You're gonna like Don Tony. He's alright. He's a good fella. He's one of us. But if you're part of my crew, nobody ever tells you they're gonna get rid of you. It doesn't happen that way. There weren't any arguments or curses like in the movies. See, your haters come with smiles. They come as your friends, the people who've claimed they care the most for your life. And now that's all over. And that's the best part. Today everything is different. There's lots of action. I don't have to wait around for everything like everyone else. Oh, I didn't get the vaccine? Fuck you, vaccine me. Oh, your delivery guy has COVID? Fuck you, feed me. Right after I moved here, I ordered egg noodles and ketchup, and I got spaghetti with meat sauce. I'm no longer an average nobody, while they get to live the rest of their lives like a bunch of schnooks.